Ducks on their white home uniforms this afternoon. Eric Bruton, Palani Spurlock, Dan Outlaw are referees today. Kyra Lambert will start off with the basketball for Duke.
Kyra Lambert, as I mentioned in the opening, has been key to this team in terms of controlling the pace and implementing a sense of urgency with this group.
She'll take the first shot and make it. How's that for a good beginning?
Right on point for Kyra Lambert. It's something that we spoke about yesterday in terms of how she's gained that confidence in her three-point shooting, but in her overall game, and she just showed it on that shot.
Florida State, one of the top scoring teams in the ACC. They average 73.5 points per game on the season overall. That ranks third in the conference. But we'll see how they handle this Duke defense. 5 on the shot clock for this first attempt. It was too strong.
Obviously starting out, you see they're a bit hesitant and not sure what Duke was in defensively. And speaking to Coach Summerall in shoot around today, she mentioned that the key is not to try to figure it out and to just play. So we'll see what they do throughout this game.
The word she used repeatedly was attack. You've got to attack this defense. Gillespie will take the 3. So 2 outside shots to start things off as the Seminoles come up empty. Here is Odom, who you talked about really being that spark in this resurgence for Duke.
And I think everyone that understands the game of basketball, and when you're talking about Duke, you understand that Odom is the key to everything with him. You have Gurecki playing at a high level, but she's the Batman.
Body soreness. I know you were at practice yesterday, Elena, and she wasn't able to do much. Was very limited in shoot around as well. As Williams off the glass and in.
Yeah, it's with Boykins, it's kind of like I've been through it, right? And so just watching her trying to test it out, it's all too familiar to me, and you can just see the frustration that she had on her face, and knowing that her body's not cooperating and doing what she wants it to do.
Morgan Jones with the first points for Florida in this end of the floor. It's not just about her offense, it's about keeping an eye on Haley Gurecki, which was her job number 1 coming into today.
Well, off of that rebound, it seems that she seems to be 100%.
She looked pretty good right there, didn't she?
That was a great drive and take by Woolfolk. She kind of followed in the wake of the cutting post for a great finish.
So if we had questions, Woolfolk trying to provide answers as to her health.
That was a great drive and a tough finish by Woolfolk.
Brings Florida State within 1. Gurecki, one of the best all-around players in the ACC, gets her own rebound, tries it again, and is fouled.
Although Gurecki, came off and got a clean look at the bucket, I noticed FSU working on defending her off of this exact play and shoot around today, in which they switched guard to guard. But that just speaks to the craftiness of Gurecki and what she's capable of doing as an offensive player.
Gurecki makes shots that, for other players, you might say look out of control, look under control, and like they are totally within her arsenal.
I would agree, Jen. She's always in control and knows what she's doing next. It's no reason. I mean, it speaks to her ability on the offensive end, but it's no surprise that she's leading the ACC, and she's one of the top leaders in scoring and also one of the top leaders in assists as well.
Shot clock getting low again. River Baldwin into the game on the interior for Florida State. She misses. One of the things Duke has done, they've won 5 of their last 6, and in that stretch they have been so tough to score on, held their opponents to just 56.5 points per game in that stretch.
Duke has become unpredictable, and I mean that in the most positive light, ever. I think when teams prepared for Duke previously, they knew that they had to play against a matchup zone. Right now, they're not sure what to prepare for defensively.
Blue Devils have certainly added some wrinkles, and it's caused problems for their opponents. Odom will bring the ball up the floor, coming off a 20-point performance on Thursday night in Duke's win at Pittsburgh. And you wonder how much more will be on Lambert's shoulders now with no Boykin to come in and spell her at that point guard position.
Well, I would hope she doesn't view it as a lot being on her shoulder, because I think with her leadership and just her presence on the floor, it brings everything that Duke needs. I think it's a chance for someone else to step into that role and produce offensively for Duke.
Could see a player like Amelia Goodchild coming off the bench, getting more minutes.
She's highly capable of doing that. I mean, she's the quickest to 100 threes in Duke's history. So it's just a matter of her regaining her confidence as well.
Right now, rebounding will be a topic of concern for Duke, as a couple of offensive rebounds for Florida State kept that possession alive, but they still come away with no points. Shot fake from Gurecki. She'll take the three now. We've been talking about so much being on the line for these two teams. We'll talk.
More of a sense of urgency on both ends, in particular for Florida State. I think they came out early and settled for too many outside shots, which is evident in their field goal percentage. They've come out and hit 3 quick buckets off drives to the lane.
That was Courtney Weber. Both she and Sammy Puisis, along with River Baldwin, in the game. Did not start the game for Florida State. Mila Goodchild is in for Duke, and there's Akinbadi James in the paint.
James is showing us what she's capable of doing. I think you underestimate her. I think she's a raw talent with great potential. Hitting that outshot shot and obviously driving left with the left-handed finish is pretty impressive.
Lambert, we talk about her offense, but her defense so key for this team as well.
Gurecki is showing us what she does best. That's just one of many things in hitting the three. Akinbadi James, as I mentioned earlier, she's showing up what she has in her repertoire, and that's driving left with the left-handed make.
Under a minute to play in a first quarter that is flying by here in Durham. Florida State won both meetings between these two teams last year as Woolfolk knocks down a three, and the Seminoles take their first lead.
That's exactly what FSU needs to do in terms of just finding those gaps, whether it's off of a pass, whether it's off a drive, kick out for easy shots.
Gurecki caught in the corner. Woolfolk doing the job on defense after she knocks down a three on the other end. She's going to be important on both ends of the floor. Lambert will take the shot and hit it. The lead goes back to the Blue Devils.
Lambert is at her best when she's decisive in the things that she wants to do on the offensive end, and this was a perfect example of it. Just having confidence in that step-back three. I'm sorry, too.
Was maybe having a little heat check there on that three-point attempt. She hit one last time down the floor. Now she'll have to end the quarter on defense. Lambert won't have much of a shot to take. And we have a 2-point game with Duke in the lead over 14th ranked Florida State.
It's just, and they're second or third, I think, in the ACC in terms of rebounding margin with 8.7. And that's an attribute to how they do it.
And Kamu still without a point in this game. She's 0 for 3. Over the last 5, Akamu's averaged just under 19 points per game. Gillespie will let go of 3. She has 5.
I think that
handling the basketball for Duke.
I love the pressure that Morgan Jones is showing and putting on Baines, understanding that she's a freshman coming in. But Morgan Jones, if she can step up and implement herself as another defender for FSU, I think they'll be in good shape finishing off the season.
You wonder perhaps if those big three will be enough for Florida State. They're certainly going to need some roles to be played by other players.
You know, that's something that I've always questioned with FSU. Obviously, you do have your big three.
Speaking of big players, you know Autumn is one of those for Duke. She wants to hear it.
I mean, this kid is impressive. Whenever she decides to play at a high level, Duke can be pretty scary.
Talk to me a little bit about that, Elena, because I know you have talked to her, and you said, you know, she's a California kid, sometimes a little laid back, and that can be misread.
Yeah, I think, you know, and I listen to a lot of the commentators and the analysts throughout the games, and I think sometimes she's misunderstood. She's from California. She's a California kid, and they're pretty laid back. But this kid is extremely talented. I think she knows that. I think everyone around her knows it. So it's just a matter of her picking and choosing. Not picking and choosing. It's a matter of her